Yo, 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 or should I say, hey, yo. Welcome to Hard Pass. I am your host, Jacques Slade, and we've got a fun show for you today. We've got a possible solution to taking L's on Saturday, Nike Air Max Day, the week's hottest drops, and of course we have this week's Hard Pass. But first, let's start with some hot takes. Right before we started recording, a leaked image of a possible Adidas and Balenciaga collab has surfaced, solidifying the Three Stripes role as the luxury brand forbidden door of sneakers. Come on, Under Armour, you're next. I already told y'all, get The Rock to call his people at Versace and get those $500 shirt Project Rocks poppin'. Come on, you don't want to be left behind. Again. The Netaverse is here, yay. And yes, I said Netaverse, not Metaverse. Because the Brooklyn Nets debuted a new way to watch live NBA games. Make them look like NBA 2K, but with terrible anti-aliasing. It's terrible. That's gonna need a few pass-throughs and a director who won't give us motion sickness before it becomes a regular thing. Speaking of the metaverse, charisma personified Mark Zuckerberg announced that NFTs will be coming to Instagram because bringing it to Facebook will combine two groups of people we can't stand. Conspiracy-loving boomers and bored snake oil salesmen. Apes, yeah, bored apes salesman. Noted Soulsborne speedrunner Distortion 2 has conquered the latest game to capture our imagination, pulling off an Elden Ring run in 28 minutes and somehow still getting better at it as we record. Meanwhile, I saw a giant lobster and had nightmares for days. Stupid Pinchy, that's my nickname for it. Is there a hot melted butter spell in that game? Okay, first I want to give a quick shout out to Variety Cebu on Instagram for this idea for this segment. They put me up on game as to what Foot Locker Hong Kong is doing to give sneakerheads a better chance at winning raffles. It looks like they have teamed up with a launch platform called EQL or Equal. A quick peek at their website shows that they know exactly the audience that they're catering to. Sad boys and sad girls like you and me who can't get the kicks that they want on Saturday mornings. Their claim is that they, quote, make selling high demand goods painless for retailers and buying them fair for fans, end quote. I mean, bold statement, so let's see what their partnership with Foot Locker entails. EQL and Foot Locker haven't been in business for that long. After some quick Google searches, it's so far limited to just Asian territories and Australia. This new raffle system is called the Equalizer. According to EQL, their tech creates a system where only verified humans are allowed to enter draws once, and that's it. Each draw participant goes through a multi-step verification process with unique identifier tags. So, in simpler words, no bots. Doesn't solve the problem of people pooling their resources and entries to support like one big bad reseller, but we'll take them on their word on the other stuff. Now, this is where it gets interesting. Each time you join and lose a draw, your chances of winning the next draw increases. They don't get into the specifics of how they make that happen because, hey, proprietary tech and all, but that's their selling point. So for example, if you signed up for a Foot Locker Equalizer raffle of the Air Jordan 6 UNC and lose, they claim that for the next raffle, like say for the Air Jordan 1 Rebelling in Air, your chances should be better. According to our friend Variety Cebu, they scored a pair on their third draw attempt. But is that a sign of the system working or a lucky draw, or are there unintended consequences that maybe we're not even thinking about? So let's game this out because we don't know how much your odds actually get better with each L you take. Let's do a hypothetical. Say you sign up for a draw for the first time and that entry gives you a 0.5% chance of winning. Why so low? Well, it's a hyped release like this past winter's patent leather ones. Okay, you take an L on that. The next time you sign up for a release, your chances are going to go up by 0.5%. Still not enough? Okay, well, for the next draw, you now have a 1% chance, and then a 2% chance, then 5, and then 10, and so on and so forth. Theoretically, if you keep catching those L's, you should have close to 100% guaranteed win at some point. It's like opening a box of trading cards with like 36 packs. One of those packs has a Michael Jordan card in it. When you open the first pack, you have a 1 in 36 chance of pulling the MJ. The next pack, 35. Then 34, then 33. The law of pack breaking states that you probably are going to get the MJ somewhere near the halfway point, but if you are somehow wildly unlucky, you will whittle it down to 2 packs. At that point, you have a 1 in 2, 50% chance of getting the MJ. And if you still don't get it, then you have a 100% success rate. So if Variety Cebu or any other sneakerhead keeps losing and losing and losing week after week after week, at some point, the odds are actually going to be in their favor. It will reach a number that is hard to risk. Like, You should probably save your next entry, let's say it's at 80% for a particularly hyped release, right? You don't want to waste your 80% chance on something like a restock of a basic Panda Dunks. Or do you? Sure, your odds increase to like between 85 to 90% if you sign up and somehow lose, but if you win and you end up with that basic ass dunk or the next PGs, you have to reset back to a 0.05% chance on the next draw. That's not gonna feel good. So you sit on that 80% for something truly worthy. Let's use this year's upcoming Air Jordan 1 as an example. Months from now, the Air Jordan 1 Yellow Toe is scheduled to release. But also later this year, we are supposed to get the Air Jordan 1 Chicago Reimagined, which is a retro of an iconic sneaker that is allegedly as close to the 1985 release as we've gotten so far, but with pre-aged detailing. Now, both of those kicks are high on the wish list of longtime Jordan fans, except for the pre-yellow detailing parts, and the kids on TikTok who want to dip them in Starbucks coffee or whatever the trend is at the moment. The Yellow Toe is supposed to release first. However, because of the way the system is designed, if you don't use your near guaranteed win for the Yellow Toe, you can't just create another account because of all the security measures. And if you were able to, say, sign up your significant other and use their info for the Yellow Toe draw, you would only have a 0.05% chance at winning back at square one. On the other hand, if you do sign up your 80% chance for the Yellow Toe draw, two things will happen. A, you win the Yellow Toe with your 80% chance, but when you sign up for the Air Jordan 1 Chicago Reimagined, you'll be back at 0.05%. Or B, you somehow lose the Yellow Toe raffle, but you now have an 85 to 90% chance of winning the Chicago Reimagined. Man, that was a lot of Steiner math. Woo! And that's not even including the worst case scenario where you pass up the Yellow Toe draw and you somehow lose the Chicago Reimagined draw with your 80% chance. Sure, you'll now have a 141 and 2/3 chance to beat Samoa Joe and Kurt Angle at win the next draw, but it won't be the sneakers you've been itching to have. It might be called the equalizer, but I think this system will have its own set of problems if it gets widespread adoption across Europe and here in the US. There will always be those who are able to cheat the system through various means, not to mention there's going to be questions that come when a sneakerhead who has taken L's for 7 straight weeks gets a win before another sneakerhead who has missed out for 15 weeks. Like, if you're watching this from one of the territories that has used the EQL draw, what issues are you actually dealing with that we're not seeing or that I haven't talked about? Let me know down in the comments below. I'm seriously curious. Look, I might not think it's a perfect solution to all our sneaker release problems, but I appreciate the effort that these companies are putting into making a viable solution. I still like my pre-order idea over everything else, but I would like to know if you would like to see the equalizer come here to the US. It can't get any worse, right? Anyway, all right. Is the Heat Check, where we bring you everything that's dropping this week. We have the South Park Adidas Originals pack on the 21st. We have the women's Air Jordan 1 Mid USA on the 22nd for $135. We have the women's Nike Dunk Low Vintage Green on the 24th for $110. We also have the women's Air Jordan 1 Low University Blue on the same day for $100. We have the Air Jordan 8 Rui Hachimura on the same day for $225. We have the Air Jordan 3 Muslin on the 25th for $200. The Mighty Morphin Power Rangers pack with Reebok, and that's dropping on the 25th as well. And then for our Yeezy of the week, we have the Adidas Yeezy Knit Runner Stone Carbon on the 26th for $200. According to Brewhouse.com, Stone Carbon is a premium grade of activated carbon made from stone coal and is to be used for carbon filtration and purification of alcohol, aka people use this to make moonshine. And then our pick of the week is the Nike Air Max 1s for Air Max Day, which is on the 26th. It'll be $160 a piece. This year's big release for Air Max Day will not be a new silhouette or a collab with Travis Scott. Nah, it's going to be a regional exclusive version of the sneaker that started it all, the Air Max 1. North America will receive the Blueprint colorway that is sadly not a nod to one of Jay-Z's best albums. European territories will get the La Ville Lumière, aka City of Light, aka Paris, with an iridescent upper. And Asia and Latin American countries will get the premium colorway that uses the Japanese concept of wabi-sabi that tailors manufacturing flaws to make them stand out and thereby not wasted them. And now for a heat check on Nike's Air Max Day, the seemingly made-up holiday that celebrates our love of the iconic Nike tech. I say seemingly made up because I still remember the confusion we all had when Nike first announced they were going to have an Air Max Day back in 2014. 2014, man, that was a good year. Anyways, sure, go on with your fine self and celebrate all things Air Max, Nike, but why are we doing this on March 26th again? Is it really the day the first Air Max dropped, or is it more of an approximation because nobody really bothered to keep release dates back in the 1980s? Did you guys just have a marketing meeting one day with the Wyden and Kennedy folks where someone came up with a brilliant idea of turning a nondescript date in the calendar into an international sneaker holiday where people willingly share their stories, for free, mind you, about how they love Air Max and how it's a lifestyle and how it's changed their lives? Because if that was the plan, congrats! It worked perfectly. This year, Air Max Day will be celebrated by sneakerheads through hashtags and pictures of their collections, although I bet anything large-scale planned by Nike beyond the 3 regional exclusives will be muted just like it has been for the past few years due to the pandemic and the war in Ukraine. Regardless, 8 years in, and we just expect there to be a Nike Air Max Day now every March 26th. Like, nobody even questions it anymore. It's like when the late Kobe Bryant somehow managed to have not just one Mamba Day, but 2. April 13th, the original Nike designated Mamba Day to commemorate this final NBA game, and August 24th, the now canonical Mamba Day that represents his 2 jersey numbers. It's the power of the swoosh, man. Like, do you all know when Adidas Boost Day is? Like, they even tried to make it a whole week a few years back, and it just hasn't stuck like Air Max Day. By the way, Boost Day is October 10th. Maybe. Anyways, I'm a little disappointed that Air Max Day won't give us the debut of the next entry, the Nike Air Max 2022. We're still stuck on the Air Max 2021, which, was a fine sneaker, but not exactly something we look forward to every time a new colorway drops. I do like the idea of regional exclusives of the Air Max 1s dropping this week, as it gives sneakerheads something to chase for. Sure, it's not the same as it was in the 2000s when you needed somebody who knew somebody overseas, because now you can just log onto a reseller platform to get them delivered in a week or 2. But it's still nice knowing that the hunt is still there in some form. But yeah, what do you guys think about Air Max Day? Is it a day you actually celebrate, or is it nothing more than a cynical cash grab? Let me know down in the comments below. Now it's time for this week's Hard Pass, where we take a look at something in the culture that just needs to go. Like the poor sucker who paid over $500,000 for Tom Brady's last touchdown football. I'm sure by the time that this goes live, the auction house will have probably taken it back as a make good and not forced the buyer to cough up the cash since Touchdown Tommy is coming back. But man, I can almost picture it. Some crypto dork buying the football, selling NFTs of a picture of the ball, which entitles them to a cut up square piece. But then actually, you know what? Make them pay Leland's auction house. Make sure Giselle gets a cut so she can keep making more money than Tommy Boy. Anyway, this week's Hard Pass goes to Nintendo. Oh, don't get me wrong. Nintendo is awesome. I love the Nintendo Switch. I especially love that co-writer said out loud that he was not going to buy an OLED Switch since he already had a launch Switch and a Switch Lite. Then he saw one at Target and bought it without thinking twice. He just loves to give you money, but so do I. So I gotta say, you guys messed up. You had to mess around and announce that Super Nintendo Land is coming to Universal Studios Hollywood on my home turf. I was ready, willing, and able to give you my money in Japan, your home turf, to explore Super Nintendo Land in Universal Studios Japan. But now that it's coming here in 2023, I just lost one of my many, many reasons to move to Japan. Like, yeah, I can still go to Universal Japan, but when there's a Nintendo Land a short drive away, that's kind of hard to justify logically and financially. So instead of rallying against the inevitable, here's my hope. Give us a Metroid ride in Universal Hollywood. That's right. Metroid, the iconic franchise that is super popular here in America but doesn't get that much love in Japan. I know the Metroids and Ridley are not as family friendly as Mario, Princess Peach, and the rest of the crew, but you can separate Metroid from the more kid-centric stuff. And besides, Metroid fits the Universal Studios brand perfectly. This is a park that has a Transformers ride, a Walking Dead maze during Halloween, a Fast and Furious bit during the studio tour starring The Rock, a Mummy roller coaster that I bet The Rock wishes the Scorpion King was in, a Simpsons land, Minions, Hello Kitty, and Woody Woodpecker. It's a sea of intellectual property without rhyme or reason. In other words, Metroid and Nintendo, you will feel right at home. All right. That's going to do it for the show today. I want to say thank you guys for watching Hard Pass. I'm Jacques Slade. I'll see you next week. If you would like to possibly be featured in a future episode, call us at 818-493-9325. Leave a short message, your socials if you want, no more than 30 seconds, and you might be featured in a future episode. Oh, and before we go, we just want to share our concerns and well wishes to Brittany Griner as she is currently detained in Russia. In different circumstances, more people would be shouting this from the rooftops, but because of the sensitive nature of the situation, we are just hoping for a quiet and peaceful return for her and others like her back home, and for this entire conflict really to end. All right, I'll see you guys next week. Peace.